Hi, the world of MMORPGs is constantly changing, and 2026 promises to be especially rich in ambitious projects. Some developers are betting on nostalgia, bringing back beloved worlds in a refreshed form. Others are searching for new mechanics to surprise players. And some are blending multiple directions at once, creating hybrid worlds with room for PvP, storytelling, and exploration. We'll see the return of iconic series, bold experiments from newcomers, and projects that aim to reshape the very essence of the genre. Let's take a look at which MMORPGs await us next year. Soulframe. The creators of Warframe have decided to radically change direction and present a completely different MMORPG. Soulframe takes us into a world where nature and magic intertwine with the spirit of medieval times and shamanism. Unlike Warframe, there's no frantic pace here. Instead, the focus is on exploration, slow and deliberate battles, and the sense of a mysterious lore that players uncover almost by touch. The combat system includes dodges, parries, and even fighting barehanded. Magic is tied to special Warframe-like prosthetics, each unlocking a unique playstyle, from stealthy hunter to combat support. The world is full of secrets. Many mechanics must be discovered on your own, making the game feel similar to a multiplayer Dark Souls. The project is still in its early stages, but its atmosphere is already clear, harsh, enigmatic, and truly immersive. Havenhold. This MMORPG from Wolfpack Games takes an unusual approach to the genre. Players become astrals, beings who wield space-time magic. The world of Havenhold lives by its own rules. Each season the story changes, and players' decisions directly influence the development of events. Dynamic quests can shift the balance of power between factions, so every action has consequences. A key feature of the game is the Kunlun Mountain Ascent cycle. You only get 14 days to climb, after which the season resets and the race begins again. This creates a constant sense of competition, but skills and gear are preserved. Alongside PvE adventures and dungeons full of valuable loot, the cycle ends with a massive PvP showdown. The economy revolves around player-to-player trading, while base building with traps and defenses adds even more possibilities. Ashes of Creation. While many MMORPGs promise a new era of the genre, Ashes of Creation truly strives to become one. Developed by Intrepid Studios on Unreal Engine 4, it offers a full sandbox in a medieval fantasy setting. The game's main feature is a dynamic world that evolves with the players. Cities can rise or fall depending on user decisions. Even NPCs live by their own rules. They appear and disappear in real time, reacting to politics and conflicts. Players are given full freedom. Explore uncharted lands, build homes and farms, or become a bandit raiding caravans for profit. The world also includes a strong quest system, dungeons, and PvP castle sieges where hundreds of players clash in massive battles. A core feature is strongholds, centers of power that players can capture and develop, shaping progress into military fortresses, religious temples, research centers, or trade hubs. Each choice shifts the entire economy and politics of the region. The class system is also unique. Instead of fixed archetypes, you can combine them. This creates dozens of unique combinations, letting every player tailor a character to their style. Bellatores. This is arguably one of the most ambitious Korean projects in recent years. Built on Unreal Engine 5 with support from investors and an Epic Games grant, its development budget has already surpassed $200 million. At its core lies the clash of 5 factional houses, an MMORPG in the realm versus realm format, where massive sieges take center stage. This is where the atmosphere of war truly comes alive, hundreds of players meeting on the battlefield. At the same time, Bellatores also offers a peaceful dimension. Players can hunt, gather resources, craft, and influence their faction's economy. Progression is based not on levels, but on skill training. The more you use an ability, the stronger you become in it. Combat combines TEP targeting with action elements. You'll need to aim and react on time, or your strike will miss. Visually, Bellatores is also impressive. The developers promise photorealistic landscapes, detailed models, ray tracing, and lumen technology. ArcheAge Chronicles. The events of this new MMORPG unfold 50 years after the original ArcheAge and continue the universe's story. Players will explore the northern lands of Aurora, build settlements, and develop their own economy. Crafting, trade, and world exploration are at the heart of the game, with trading becoming a crucial part of progress. Goods can be transported by wagons, but the more valuable the cargo, the higher the risk of PvP raids. The combat system is based on skills and timing, dodges, combos, and abilities that change depending on equipment promised dynamic battles. The game will feature both solo activities and large-scale raids for up to 20 players. Special attention has been given to housing, no longer just individual homes on the map, but entire districts and guild cities. Apogea. This is a hardcore medieval MMORPG. You begin your journey as a squire and choose your profession, knight, mage, or rogue. A branching skill system lets you develop your character in your own style, combining abilities to create a unique build. The world is vast and alive. Dense forests, deserts, swamps, and dungeons hold many secrets and dangers. Battles with monsters and other players can yield rare items, while quests push you to explore and interact with the environment. PvP here is promised to be tough and unpredictable. The game will be free to play. Drakantos. This is a free retro-pixel MMORPG from a Brazilian studio. The game combines old-school aesthetics with dynamic action combat and offers more than 20 unique characters. Each hero has their own mechanics and story, turning co-op play into an experiment with dozens of different strategies. Drakantos has everything you'd expect from an MMORPG: story quests, world events, guilds, trading, and dungeons with rare loot. But the game focuses on variety. Quests and events will change over time, meaning each playthrough can surprise you with new enemies, traps, and plot twists. For competitive players, there's a dedicated PvP mode with tournaments and rankings. The balance is fair. All heroes and battles have equal stats. Only player skill and chosen tactics matter. Add a collection of pets, emotes, and character customization, and you get a unique mix of classic MMO and arcade action. Chrono Odyssey. This ambitious Korean MMORPG is being developed on Unreal Engine 5 and offers a large-scale adventure in a world at war with gods and an invasion of the destructive void. Players act as agents who gain access to an artifact that allows them to manipulate time, the game's key mechanic. Chrono Odyssey leans heavily into action combat. Dodges, parries, and weapon switching add depth, while bosses require focus and precise timing. The initial lineup includes all the familiar classes, each with its own combat style. But the developers promise that time manipulation mechanics will make the gameplay feel fresh. Still, the game sparks mixed feelings. On the one hand, it's a spectacular project with a high budget, a beautiful world, and big promises. On the other, tests revealed technical issues and an overly glossy style typical of classic Korean MMOs. Sword of Justice. This game is presented as a revolutionary MMORPG without tedious grinding and with a unique martial arts system. Inspired by classic Chinese literature, it aims to blend Eastern aesthetics, an open world, and thoughtful RPG mechanics. The developers promise the atmosphere of a true martial arts school. The main feature is the Paths Converge system, which allows players to earn rewards in any way they prefer, through exploration, sparring, or dungeon runs. There are no class restrictions. A healer can strike down enemies, while a tank can heal allies. Players will be able to freely combine hundreds of martial arts skills to build their own unique combat style. Another intriguing feature is the use of AI. NPC companions will have distinct personalities and remember the player's actions, even assisting in group dungeons. Ashfall. This is a post-apocalyptic MMORPG. The game's world is a future Earth, devastated first by global warming and then by a nuclear war triggered by artificial intelligence. Players take on the role of one of the few survivors, leaving their shelter to search for an artifact capable of bringing life back to the planet. Gameplay is built around a mix of single-player adventure and a gradual transition into a full multiplayer world. The game promises both PvE expeditions and PvP battles. The developers are focusing on cinematic presentation and atmosphere, promising a deep story and dynamic gameplay that evolves with the players. It's a highly ambitious project backed by a team with extensive industry experience, which is why it's being closely followed by fans of Days Gone, as well as MMO enthusiasts. MU Legend EVO. The new continuation of the franchise combines the atmosphere of a classic MMORPG with the fast-paced action of hack-and-slash gameplay. Players can expect familiar raids like Blood Castle and Endless Tower, procedurally generated dungeons, and an entire world full of battles and adventures. The game is being built as a successor to MU Online and MU Origin, but with a modern approach and more dynamic gameplay. PvP is a major focus, offering 1v1 duels, 3v3 team battles, and large-scale guild tournaments with up to 16 teams. Every fight requires tactics and skill, while the variety of modes ensures that everyone can find their preferred type of challenge. PvE is no less important. Monsters, bosses, and world events provide plenty of opportunities to test your abilities and earn rare rewards. Duet Night Abyss. An MMORPG where magic and technology intertwine in a dark fantasy setting. Players enter a world filled with demonic creatures and secrets, progressing from simple adventurers to heroes destined to break the cycle of suffering and uncover hidden truths. The gameplay combines hack-and-slash elements with classic MMO features: fast-paced, flashy combat, large-scale exploration, and deep character progression. Weapons and abilities can be combined to create a personal fighting style. Duet Night Abyss is designed as an accessible free-to-play project aimed at a wide audience. It offers story quests, dungeons, co-op raids, and PvP activities. If the developers deliver on their promises, it could become a standout addition to the lineup of Eastern MMORPGs. Where Winds Meet. This is a Chinese open-world RPG set during the Five Dynasties period. A key feature is the mystery system. New combat techniques can't simply be unlocked by leveling up. They must be earned by taking on trials or defeating masters. This creates unique abilities, ranging from time-slowing powers to exotic martial arts. The combat system is inspired by Dark Souls. Dodges, blocks, and counterattacks make fights intense and rewarding. Beyond combat, the game also offers crafting and peaceful professions. You can become a doctor, an architect, or a scholar. Healing is presented as a mini-game with card mechanics, while construction and diplomacy unlock new narrative opportunities. Aion 2, the sequel to the legendary MMORPG, set hundreds of years before the original. The developers have preserved the spirit of the first game while adapting it for modern expectations, adding more freedom and dynamism. Aion 2 offers cross-platform play between PC and mobile devices, though the PC version remains the priority. The game will not include auto-combat. Instead, it uses an action-based non-target system where damage is calculated after the attack animation finishes. Battles are based on tactics, controlling attack direction, dodges, and backstabs. Players can expect massive PvE content, more than 200 dungeons, including solo runs, group challenges, and beginner-friendly modes. PvP focuses on cross-server wars and spatial rifts, while a taming system allows players to turn many monsters into rideable mounts. Midnight. This is the second expansion in the massive World Soul Saga, where players once again face Xal'atath and her Void Army. The story unfolds at the Sunwell, with the central theme being the clash between light and darkness. Developers promise to show these forces not as the usual good and evil, but as two sides of the same power. The main innovations of the expansion include the long-awaited housing system and a new demon hunter specialization called the Devourer. Unlike the traditional melee style, this spec focuses on mid-range combat and void magic. Players will also return to updated versions of Eversong Woods and Quel'Thala's zones completely transformed after the Scourge invasion. Among the new activities is the hunting system. Players will track down dangerous enemies across Azeroth, following clues and signs. The expansion will also introduce a new allied race, the Harani, closely tied to the World Trees. Sea of Remnants. This unusual role-playing MMO takes players into a mystical world of puppet-like people living by the shores of a vast sea. At the center of the story is a sailor who has lost his memory and his mysterious companion. Together, they set out on a perilous journey to uncover his past and legendary treasures, facing pirates, monsters, and the curse of the ocean itself. Gameplay unites up to 300 players on a single server. Each can build their own ship, recruit a crew from the locals, and set sail to explore the open seas. Along the way lie storms, random events, and battles against sea monsters. Uninhabited islands can be claimed as bases, though defending them takes place in turn-based battles. Special focus is given to style. The art direction is led by the artist behind Identity V. His puppet-like aesthetic gives the game a unique look. Every loss is not just a risk for the hero, but also a loss of memories, directly affecting their abilities. All of this makes Sea of Remnants one of the most unusual MMO adventures in the coming years. As you can see, the future holds a massive variety, from pixel adventures and brutal sandboxes to post-apocalyptic worlds and Eastern epics. Each of these games brings its own vision of the genre, and that diversity is what makes it exciting. All that's left is to wait for the releases and see which of the developers' promises will become reality, and which will remain just beautiful words. The Image Game Channel was with you. Have a nice day.